Now.
When dancers are young, they are told anything is possible with enough hard work and dedication. Many goals dancers set for themselves are achievable in a short time span. If a dancer wants to be more flexible and they stretch every night, they'll begin to see progress quickly. If a dancer wants lower splits, higher jumps, and longer lines, the work can begin at any age and any skill level. There is one goal many dancers aspire to reach, but may not even be considered for until they're at least 8, and they may be told they'll never be allowed to do it. This is point work. It's ruthless, tiring, and a discipline that allowance to study will take a much longer period than most other aspects of dance. Once you have been told you are ready to begin point work, the real process is only just beginning. So, you've been told you're ready to begin point work, so you're going to need shoes. Now, you might be tempted to go buy them online, but you're not familiar with the shape of your feet and what kind of shoes you'll need. So you're going to want to go to a professional. The closest place to Johnstown to buy the shoes is in Altoona, but there's other places locally as well, like in Pittsburgh. So once you get to the shop, a professional's going to talk to you and they're going to have you sit down in a chair, take off your shoes, and have your feet flat on the floor. They're going to look at the shape of your feet and any oddities your feet have. As you may already know, not everyone's feet look exactly the same. As you can see, some people have longer toes and some people have shorter toes. There can be other different things too. So once the person figures out what kind of shoes they think you'll need, they're going to give you the first pair they think you'll want. You're going to put them on your feet and you'll pop up on top of your box, which is the flat bottom of the shoe. You'll know it's the right shoe whenever you don't feel any pain. After a long rehearsal, you'll feel pain from your point shoes, but being on them for a few seconds, it shouldn't be bad. So you got your first pair of point shoes and they fit. You're going to want to put them on. So the first step is to put on any of the accessories that your professional gave you whenever you went to get fitted. And it's also important to sit in your chair that your feet can be flat on the floor and you can reach them. So you have your accessories. For me personally, I have gel spacers that go between my big toe and my second toe. And I also have gel pads which just reduce pain during a long rehearsal. The next step is simply to slip your shoes onto your feet. And once they're on, you're just going to want to wiggle your toes around and make sure they're comfortable in the box. So the next step, the most important step, is obviously tying the ribbons. For this point, it's very important to have your feet flat on the floor. So this is actually a very simple process. Once you have your ribbons in hand, you'll cross them in front, cross them in back, wrap them around your ankle, and then you're going to want to tie your knots in the little knobbly bone by your ankle. So I'm going to double knot my ribbons. And I'm going to tuck the excess under the other ribbons. And just to recap, cross in front, cross in back, wrap around, and then you'll double knot by your ankle bone and tuck under the excess. So now that you have your point shoes on, it's time to start dancing. So we're going to start in first position, which is the easiest position of any type of dance. When you're 3, 4, 5 years old and you're just beginning to take classes, you're going to learn everything in first position first because it's the easiest. Same thing goes for point work. You're just beginning to learn to dance in a new way and you're going to start with the easiest. So first position is when your heels are together and your toes are apart, and that's called turnout. That exists through all of the positions in ballet. Alright, so after first, there's obviously second position, and typically in dance class, second position is quite wide. Your heels are further out than your hip bones, and your toes are still turned out. But in point, this creates a problem, because point shoes make your leg approximately 6 inches longer than normal, and you can't get on top of your box and stay there. So you're going to be your second position less narrow. It's still going to be wider than your first position, but not quite as wide. So you can get up on top of your box and stay there. We're going to skip over third position because it works the same muscle group as fifth position does, and that one is much more common. So I'm going to skip ahead to fourth. Fourth position, you can get there by starting in first, pointing your toe, and you'll know your foot is the right distance away whenever your back foot's toe reaches the heel of the front foot. Again, turnout exists in this position. Your toes point away from each other and your heels are towards each other in the center. And finally, for fifth position, you're going to take your foot and put it back in first and slide your heel along the inside of the foot until it reaches your big toe. And this can work other ways as well. If you want the other foot in front, let's be the back toe to the front heel. All right. Going to purchase pointe shoes, putting them on for the first time, and the first steps taken in them are all very memorable moments in every dancer's life. Once you own shoes that properly fit your feet, have put them on successfully by yourself, and take your very first steps across the dance floor, you will feel a great accomplishment that you are now ready to take on pointe work, something some dancers only ever get to dream of doing.